I think the key takeaway from any of these conversations that we have, and we have a lot of them, is that there's no way that if you're holding digital assets right now, you could go broke.
You should be making money 24/7.
Yeah.
Imagine coming into the market at that point. Like, don't know nothing, fresh and green. Like, those are going to be some expensive mistakes.
Yeah, you just said it in a nutshell. I think we're going to wrap it up now. Not getting involved in crypto now is going to be an expensive mistake later. Paying paycheck to paycheck to cover my expenses and instead using the market's money, i.e., DeFi, to do it, and I can afford a better lifestyle. And when you can explain that to them, yo, it's like the light bulb goes off, and that's what we need. That's what we need. We don't need any more of these price projection, nonsensical bullshit, feeding people hopium. We need people to see that this is real utility. It can really unlock a better lifestyle. Yeah,
When they get liquidated.
man, this shit is just so powerful. Like I was really thinking about it because yesterday I was just like the market's down recently and I was looking at the value of my portfolio and I'm sitting there and because I remember I was talking to you guys about the possibility of entering into another real estate position, physical real estate position. This guy that I know that is owns property up near the lake house is selling his house. It's like two streets down from mine and he's only selling it for like $200,000. But the house on Airbnb, I did the math, would rack in well over that payback. It would pay back the freaking loan if I were to take out a $200,000 loan within probably the first year, if not 2 years, right? So I'm thinking about getting it, but I'm like, I don't want to go to a bank and take out a loan. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I could just borrow against my H bar that I just put on. I mean, it's not $200,000 today, but the other day it was over 200 grand. I think today it's worth like maybe 176 grand. I could just borrow against that and then go turn it into stable coins or borrow against stable coins, take those stable coins, put them into my bank account, send this dude the money, buy the house pretty much in cash, and then use the Airbnb rental income to pay back the freaking loan. Like right now, and I'm sitting there, I'm like blowing my fucking mind. That's crazy that we have this access right now, y'all. Like right now, we could do this. So, I don't see why this would not be the future once it becomes regulated. If we can do it right now in an unregulated environment, in a regulated environment, there's no reason why people and my like why the fuck would people use banks anymore?
Yeah, Cyprus, I've got a question. Just for clarity, if you approach it maybe a very more low risk, if you say like, have 1,000 XRP, you lend it, and then you borrow against it, but you don't use that funds that you borrow, you just leave it there. You're still earning that yield, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, like, let's say your loan health goes below 10%, or the price appreciates silly, crazy, goes to $1,000 as Jake Cleaver's nonsense, but you just pay it back that coins. You won't have loss, right?
No, you don't pay anything back unless you borrow.
Unless you use that money funds that you've borrowed.
Exactly.
Okay.
You only pay back something if you borrowed it. So like say for like right now on my H bar position, if I wanted to withdraw my H bar position because right now I'm just a lender, I can. I don't have to
Mhm.
pay anything back because I'm just lending.
No, no, but I'm saying I've lent and I've also borrowed against that as collateral.
Mhm.
But it's just lying there in the wallet. I'm not using it at all.
So then you'd have to give back the money that you borrowed to get your original lent out position back.
But you're borrowing the token. So let's say I put in 1,000 XRP, I
Mhm.
borrow 750 XRP, but it's just lying on the wallet. I'm not using it.
Yeah.
When the price goes up eventually, do I have to pay you back more or just that
Yeah,
750 token?
you'd have to pay back the amount in terms of tokens that you borrow.
Okay,
So if
not the
price
cash value.
Yeah, not the cash. So if price does appreciate in value, yeah, you'd kind of be screwed because you would have to pay back. You'd have how many tokens? 750. You'd have to pay back $750 worth or 750 tokens worth of XRP, whatever that amount is.
Hmm.
So it would actually be
And
it would be less beneficial for you right now to be lending and borrowing the XRP if you're not going to actually be utilizing the borrowed XRP right now for anything. And you're actually exposing yourself to more risk.
He should just lend it. He just lend the borrow SRP back, put it back into the lending side. It's like you double dipping.
Yeah, somebody said in the chat you can loop it back into your let position. Yeah.
I think the reason why he's holding it off and not putting it anywhere else is just in case the market does go bad and he needs that capital to pay that loan back to get his XRP out.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or if
that's
you
basically what
had,
I'm asking.
Because he doesn't
yes,
want to risk it. He doesn't want to risk putting it or deploying it because if he loses that 750, then he's not getting back his original lent amount.
What you could do too is you could deposit that XRP that you borrowed back and then reborrow again, but do it in stable coins to mitigate that upside risk.
Okay, I see. Yeah, okay,
And then
I see.
same strategy that Harrow just said is you can use that USDC to loop it back into your lending side to give yourself more exposure to XRP. And then holding the USD borrowed side, you're not risking price appreciation in the borrowed amount that you have to pay back.
I understand. Okay, cool, Beans. I understand. Thanks, Claire, for clarifying that.
Oh, I fucking love this community. Man, I couldn't imagine.
Yes.
I think the cool
Oh,
part
man.
is you're paying even if you lend out or borrow your XRP and you got USDC that you're lending out and it's paying I think right now about 18 to 20, you could technically use the benefits from that yield to pay just chip away at what you um borrowed on your XRP. So you're not actually having to come out of your pocket to pay it back at all. Just use your USDC rewards and pay it down.
Yeah. The only downfall to that though is timing because it would take us, depending on the amount, is just time to pay it back, right? So,
Sure. Yeah.
but not a bad idea at the end of the day, right? If you're not in any rush, I mean,
Or like you like I've been watching the farming pool, the XPR USDC, and I notice as the price of XPR dips, it rebalances and I end up getting more tokens of XPR. If we get another dip, I'll probably pull out of the farm because I'll actually have more XPR tokens because it's rebalanced and be ahead of my XPR. Price goes down, pull out of the farm, use the remaining USDC, even buy more XPR because the price is down,
mhm.
and then stake it all. Or you can look to do whatever after that. But
Yeah. I think the key takeaway from any of these conversations that we have, and we have a lot of them, is that there's no way that if you're holding digital assets right now, you could go broke.
you should be making money 24/7.
Yeah, like for real. I seriously don't see anybody in this community going broke if you have, you know, a substantial amount of digital assets. I mean, you don't even really need a substantial amount of digital assets just in general. Like after we really do see price appreciation, it's going to be really hard for people in this community to go broke. And so many people are going to go broke in this next super cycle because they're just going to fucking sell it for fiat. It's just crazy to me. And even if you did sell for fiat or stable coins or whatever, like same thing. So let's say, for example, XRP did go to $1,000 and you do want to shave some capital off the top to pay yourself. Well, take profit, but the profit that you take, don't pay yourself with that profit. Take the stable coins that you take in profit. Let's say you take $1 million off the table. Don't send that $1 million to your bank account. Take the $1 million in stable coins, lend it out, borrow against it, and use the borrowed money against your stable coins for daily expenses, personal, whatever, life, whatever, right? Because
Yeah.
the whole entire time, like, dude, there's just some, oh my God, man, I feel so just bad for people that are gonna do that. They're just gonna sell and then put the money back in their bank account and think that they're gonna get it in a pullback. It's wild. Wild stuff. And I mean,
Yeah.
think about all the other strategies that we're going to have access to. Like, let's say we do see this massive price appreciation, and then we do get a protocol out there, or maybe it is lofty, in the future, where we can then buy with our profits real estate portfolio or, real estate properties, tokenize them, and then use that income to pay back the loan. Like, there's so many different ways in which we're going to be able to just borrow against our assets, pay back the loan, and then just loop it. Fucking loop it, like literally. Yeah, that's wild. Our kids ain't never going broke. We ain't never going broke. This it's gonna be crazy in the future, you guys and gals. Seriously, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. You know what the crazy part is? The borrow APY will never compete with the LP liquidity pool providing APY, so it's always gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super true. And I mean, especially the if we could get a good DeFi platform that provides, that allows you to provide liquidity that becomes compliant with regulations, and stands the test of time. And like you said, bro, can just give us 20% on some stable coins. Man, wow.
That's what's gonna happen. The banks are actually saved. Marshall saved the banks with his tech. The banks are able to adopt his tech and give everything that you just broke down to all of its clientele and to its consumer and customers, right? So the banks, low key, they used to be in trouble, but they ain't in trouble no more, in my opinion, based off what Marshall could do for them.
Honestly, I honestly think a lot of people in this community are going to retire this next cycle just off of profit yield generation alone. Like, how much was the amount Aqua that I told you, bro? It was like 2.5 million, right? If you could put 2.5 million in a 10%, well, even if you went to Bounce Bit right now, which is regulated, compliant with institutional regulation, KYC, AML, and backed by Franklin Templeton, and they offer a fixed rate of 12% on stablecoins, like right now. So if you put you made 2.5 million profit this next cycle, right? You put 2.5 million on Metal X, right? You put 2.5 million on Metal X, and let's just say on Metal X, it's earning a minimum in the lending side of 10%, which is usual, right, for Metal X. Like right now, you go look at the yield, it's probably like what, 14% or something on the lending side, right? You take that 2.5 million, you borrow 75% against it, so minus 75%. Let me make sure I'm doing that math. All right, so you can borrow 1.85 million in Metal X against that 2.5 million. Keep in mind the 2.5 million is earning you yield the entire time. You take that 1.8 million and you go put it on BounceBit, and I'm just using BounceBit as an example because they're regulated right now and they offer a fixed rate, so it doesn't fluctuate. It's a fixed rate of 12%. And so 1.85 million plus 12% per year is $222,000 per year just off of that strategy alone. Divided by 12, 18 grand a fucking month, yo. Like I don't see how some of you guys don't make at least $2.5 million with some of your uh um portfolios right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm just
Yeah.
running random numbers, and I mean these numbers are going to fluctuate for each and every single one of us, but that strategy alone that I just said, if you plan on paying yourself after this next cycle, that's one of the strategies that you should partake in. Not financial advice, of course, but like taking your profits, lending them out to earn yield, taking that, borrowing against it, putting that profit back in, or putting the borrowed asset into another position that's earning yield to pay yourself and pay some of your loan back. Like it's
So
wild to me.
easy. So easy, bro. So easy.
And how many
You
people
can
in crypto right now are not thinking about this, bro? It's nuts to me. It's so
They're
crazy.
gonna pull that 2.5 million and then spend it in like 6 months or less. You think
be
about
broke.
it, be
Be
broke.
broke. Wondering what happened. Crypto's a scam. Oh man. Nah,
Man,
man. DeFi is the key. Putting your
it is,
money in
bro.
and lending protocols and putting it in LPs or hedging against other cryptos is really the way to do it nowadays, man. You will never go broke.
Once, just like how like back in the early days, it's the same thing with DeFi now. Everybody thinks that it is so crazy to me is that you have people in crypto. I said this in the chat the other day. You have people in crypto that hold unregulated assets in unregulated hot wallets or on unregulated centralized exchanges or in unregulated cold storage wallets, right? And they'll hold crypto and be like, oh my gosh, they firmly believe in it and they think it's going to the moon, right? But then they won't participate in DeFi because it's unregulated, but they participate in all these other unregulated activities. Makes absolutely no sense to me, you
I
know?
agree. I
Look,
agree.
Like, how can you participate in all these other unregulated activities, but not another unregulated activity? Do you want to know why? It's because of lack of education. These people are comfortable holding cryptocurrencies because they read the docs, because they are comfortable with the wallet that they hold it in, or how to send a transaction or store it, and they can physically see it in their wallet. So they're educated about it to some extent. The reason why people are not comfortable with DeFi is because they're not fully educating themselves on DeFi. Granted, if they did, they would surpass that uncertain barrier that they're creating for themselves. They would learn that they can mitigate risks in DeFi and they can expose themselves to DeFi by lowering their risks. Risk cannot be completely gone or eradicated, just like holding XRP does not mean that you're fucking risk free in crypto, y'all. They could rug pull XRP at any time. We never know. Just saying, right? And I'm just using as it's highly unlikely, right? So that highly unlikely scenario makes you more comfortable to hold XRP. Well, same thing in DeFi. If you participate in DeFi strategies that are highly unlikely to go against you and liquidate your capital, then it'll make you ever much more that comfortable to participate, which is what I think when that happens, when that shift in mindset in both institutions and retail, they have that like, oh shit, that aha, I can mitigate my risk, man. And once everybody picks up on DeFi, bro, I don't see how it doesn't become the backbone of the new financial infrastructure.
And bro, these banks are gonna be offering DeFi, like the credit unions, all these banks,
100%.
like it, like bro, like I was just thinking about it. It's almost gonna be like the banks are back because like back in the days, the banks would give pretty good, decent returns from what I heard from back in the days. But now they don't do that. But with this new tech, bro, like there's gonna be a whole new wave, and yeah,
It's so simple to see. Imagine this in the future. I'll say this last thing. This is how simple it is to break it down for people that don't understand it, that are still skeptical. Imagine in the future, you have two financial institutions and two real estate agents. One financial institution and one real estate agent is still using traditional rails, and one institution and the other real estate agent are both using blockchain, smart contracts, and digital assets. And you have two clients. One client goes, or you have one client. One client goes to the traditional financial player and traditional real estate agent to get a house loan and is told that they have to wait months to get a loan. They have to sign all this paperwork. They have to do this. They have to go through all these loopholes. They have to prove their bank account. They have to report their taxes for the last 2 years. You guys know if you own property, all the shit that you have to go through. I know I had to go through it. It's like literally a month to 3 month, 4 month, even sometimes in 6 month long processes just to get a freaking approval for a house, right? All these just loopholes. You guys know what I'm talking about in a nutshell. Then the client's like, okay, I'm going to see what my other options are. Then they go to the bank and the real estate agent that's using smart contracts, blockchain, and digital assets. And they're like, yeah, yeah, we can get you approved today. Just show us your liquidity. Show us your liquidity on your WebAuth wallet, or I'm just using whatever as an example. Show us that you have the amount that you can take to lend and borrow against to get your loan or whatever, and boom, we can have it done for you today. As a matter of fact, we can have it done for you today before you walk out of this office. Who do you think people are going to pick, y'all? It's that simple to show people that this is going to be the future because once more people find out that it's that simple and it's going to be as easy as one, two, three, everybody that's doing it the old way is going to risk falling behind. And everybody that's doing it the new way is going to onboard hundreds of thousands of people into the new infrastructure. And all the people that are like skeptical about it now that stay on the old infrastructure, they're going to become obsolete. It's that simple when you're explaining it to people. We're at a stage now where it's adopt or get left behind. Yeah.
And the new way, they'll be able to give a better APR for people that, like if the bank's holding their assets, so to speak, they can get a better APR because the bank is making 3 times that doing just what we're doing here ourselves.
It's better everything. It's better
Yeah.
speed, it's better efficiency, it's honestly better security, it's more transparency, it's literally better everything. It's a complete revamp.
I'm
So,
waiting for these exchanges to go bust because I think the banks are going to take over that role.
man.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
once compliance and
you,
regulations hit, that's where everyone is going to funnel to, bro. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? The
you
banks.
Hmm.
remember Monica Long said a long time ago the train done left the station.
She
And
meant
she
she
meant
meant she
that
meant that that's
she
for XRP.
no,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
ain't
yeah.
even just, but it ain't even just XRP that she was talking about though. If you really think about it, she was just saying the digital world. Period. That's what a lot of people are failing to realize. Like it's here. I can't remember that video cipher. You the one who put us on that video. It's been about 2, 3 years because I've been with you about 3 years now. Um, it
Probably
was the video
Rosario's
with
you're talking about.
when my man said got dog. He said what you just said. He said the everything is old and antiquated. Either you gonna basically he said get on the bus and get your ass roll over, and he literally almost said it just like that. He said you're gonna get left behind. You remember they said that what back in 2021, yeah, like 2021, 2022.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see, how all these skeptics, what this looks like when the money really comes. Because even think about it today in the landscape, what, $3.9 trillion dollars, according to some platforms like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, like $3.9 trillion dollars is 0.0001% of global finance. It's like not
Peanuts.
it's like not a lot at all. So like people that think that this market can go to 50 to 100 trillion dollars are just they just don't understand finance in general. Like the DTCC dude Don Donnie just said right now, $20 trillion dollars per day and lending and borrowing between TradFi. So just imagine if 5% of that came on chain, 5% of real estate came on chain, and 5% of stocks came on chain, and 5% of commodity trading and investing came on chain. That alone right there would be like 50 trillion, maybe more than that.
Ima- Imagine coming into the market at that point. Like, don't know nothing, fresh and green. Like, those are going to be some expensive mistakes.
Yeah, you just said it in a nutshell. I think we're going to wrap it up now. Not getting involved in crypto now is going to be an expensive mistake later.
Yeah, absolutely. But I
Yeah.
found when you try to explain this to somebody else, for me personally, when I explain the DeFi aspect that I've been learning and doing, um, I feel like talking and explaining to somebody else, I'm learning more myself, confirming that I really know what I think I don't know when I'm explaining it to somebody else. Because I had that conversation just the other day when I was at this place. The guy was talking to me about it. My wife was overhearing. She hates hearing me talk about crypto because that's all I do. And so she was just standing there rolling her eyes. And I was explaining to this guy. And then all of a sudden she's like, well, how do you know how to do that? And I said, it's crypto. It's stuff you don't want to know about.
Yeah.
Literally, I told her like that. And this guy looked at her and said, you should really listen to him because he's explaining stuff that's going to be our future.
Yeah. I explained to my a couple of days ago, DeFi and crypto, and she was pretty much like, give me an elevator pitch on why I should pay attention to this. And I pretty much first, I've told you guys this, you need to explain something to somebody in a way that they can attach and gravitate towards something that they already know to get them to see how there is an alternative. So what I pretty much explained to her is think about the way the world works today. The elites have systematically made everything cost you something. Think about it. You want to drive a vehicle, right? First off, think about your paycheck. Think about the money, the income that you earn. Everything is designed in this reality that we currently live in, this centralized reality, to chip away at your paycheck. The car you drive, right? You drive a car. Well, if you want that car, you have to first go buy that car. Then you have to pay taxes on that. You have to get it registered. You have to pay for insurance. You have to pay for gas. All of these things. You have to pay for maintenance. That's five expenses right there. A vehicle is not an asset, it is a liability. Your house, whether it's you earn or whether it's you own a house or it's you rent a house, it's a liability for most people. For the majority of the population, renting or owning a house is a liability, not an asset. Um, just everything in general is a liability. Your electricity bill, your gas bill, in certain places, for example, where I live, I have a trash bill that I pay quarterly for them to come and pick up the trash. I have to pay a HOA to cut my grass, like all these things. So right now, albeit I'm a real estate investor and some of my real estate properties are assets, the property that I live in now that I rent from, it's a liability for me, which is the vast majority of reality for most people, like 90% probably of the population. Their living is a liability. Everything is a liability. Everything. Even the food that you consume is a fucking liability. You don't get paid to eat. You have to go buy groceries. And what do we get hit with at the grocery store? Fucking inflation and rising prices. So this world, centralized, is a liability in a nutshell. And you have to get people to see that. When they see that, they're like, dang, you're right. I didn't even think about how much shit I pay for. Then you flip it on your head. Okay, so now imagine if everything that you're paying for right now, I literally went and I sat down and I created a spreadsheet. And I took at the top of the spreadsheet how much this lady makes, how much she makes monthly, how much her expenses are. I bundled up all her expenses and added them together. And I said, okay, now imagine, and I'm just going to use a hypothetical number. Your living expenses are $2,000 a month. You make $4,000 a month. Now imagine if that $2,000 a month that you're paying in terms of all your liabilities, i.e., your expenses, you put that $4,000 a month in income that you're making from your job or your other passive income resources, if you have any, and then now you can make $2,000 a month and pay all of your expenses, but with DeFi, right? That's possible right now. And so you need to ask yourself the question, would you rather pay your living expenses right now with your paycheck, or would you rather pay your living expenses through yield that you're making with your paycheck so that way you have more at the end of every single month? Explaining to them that the goal is not for them to become millionaires. See, the misconception that the vast majority of these influencers and why they fuck around with people's mentality is they come around making everybody on the internet thinking that they're going to become millionaires. That is the farthest thing from the truth. Most people in crypto that are investors today will not become millionaires, but do they have the potential to become thousandaires? Absolutely. Right? You have to start from the ground foundation. Everybody thinks too big and they don't think realistic enough. So you have to explain to these people that they're not going to become overnight millionaires, but could they live a much more comfortable life through the utilization of these new technologies? And the answer is 110%. So when you're explaining this to a newcomer or a person that doesn't understand these technologies, don't feed them the narrative of this get rich quick mentality that all these other fucking retards on the internet do to people, misleading them to believe a reality that's probably never going to exist for them. But can a more comfortable reality exist for them? 110%. And if you can get them to gravitate towards that, i.e., living more comfortably, having a little bit extra to take their significant other at the end of the month on a date, or maybe buying themselves something nice because they, instead of paying $2,000 a month on their personal liabilities and expenses, they paid it with their yield and they still had an extra $2,000 a month. So then what do they do with that extra $2,000 a month? They start to pay off their debt. And lowering their debt, what does that do? Again, affords them a more comfortable lifestyle. So feed that to them, something that they can actually achieve. That's what I have realized over the past couple of years is when you're explaining crypto to people, don't shove it in their face as, hey, invest in XRP because it's going to go to fucking $1,000, y'all. Because when you say that to people, they're like, okay, I can believe that. But then when it doesn't happen in a month, they start to lose that faith. Instead, you have to teach them how to build faith within themselves, within their own strategy, and with their own implementation as to how they can free themselves from the rat race. Everybody in the fucking world is in this rat race, and crypto unlocks that. It unlocks the ability for you to really expose yourself outside of the rat race that they created. And when you can show people that, then they can really like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. This isn't some hypey, get rich quick, lottery fix mindset. This is I kind of want to go on a vacation twice per year, and I can do that if I take my income, supplement my liabilities with yield generation income, pay that, save the money that I'm making in terms of my, you know, paycheck, my overhead paycheck, because I'm not paying paycheck to paycheck to cover my expenses and instead using the market's money, i.e., DeFi, to do it, and I can afford a better lifestyle. And when you can explain that to them, yo, it's like the light bulb goes off, and that's what we need. That's what we need. We don't need any more of these price projection, nonsensical bullshit, feeding people hopium. We need people to see that this is real utility. It can really unlock a better lifestyle, and it can really do a lot of numbers for people that are just normal 9 to 5 workers. Simple.